Does a sports injury have you sidelined? Are you ready to get back in the game quickly and safely? With the most up-to-date technology to relieve pain and speed recovery, Dr. Michael Scarpone and his skilled team understand your needs. Beginning this August through October, Dr. Scarpone will be available Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturday mornings from 8 to 8:30 a.m., treating all athletes between junior high through college level. For more information and to see what other players and coaches are saying, find us on Facebook or visit us online.
Hey, welcome to Week 6 of the Star Sportscast with Fred Younce, a.k.a. Brent Sobleski. This is Mike Mathison. We miss Brent, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
Because we have to get...
Not really, since half the soccer coaches in the Valley think my name is Brent Sobleski. Like he's never left.
But he's always in our hearts.
Always.
Yeah, and of course, this week he panned out because he didn't want to cover a football game, but, that's just a whole other issue. Hey, Week 6?
Yep.
Playoff hunt?
Yes.
Some teams in, some teams not even
so
close.
Much.
Not so much. You know what the best part about Week 6 of high school football is?
What's that?
The NHL lockout's going to continue for a really long time. It's awesome.
That works.
No
for me.
NHL. It's great stuff.
They still play?
Rumor has
What's
it.
that stand for
Up in
anyway?
Saskatchewan or someplace like that. I don't know. They play hockey. Anyway, let's get back to football. Hey, we have 5 homecoming games this week, 4 on Friday night. The first one is Westinghouse at Big Red. Big Red's coming off a 24-7 loss at Mathison. Outscored them 7-3 in the last 3 quarters. And Westinghouse has already lost to Winley Central and Buckeye Local. I see this as a good old-fashioned whooping.
Yeah, next. We don't need to talk about
Yeah,
this.
it's just I do think Big Red found some identity last week on the defensive side of the ball. Last few weeks, you cannot let Mathison, any team, score 21 in the first quarter and come back to win.
Oh, no. But they're seriously, this game
Yes.
is going to be Big Red taking out frustration on Westinghouse. I almost feel sorry for him this week. It's going to get ugly.
Almost.
It's going to get ugly. Yeah, not quite, but
Almost.
almost. If I had a heart, I would feel bad for what's going to happen this week because they're going to get hurt.
We know your heart only bleeds blue and gold.
I am who I am.
I know. A bench sitter. Okay, then we got another homecoming game, UL at Indian Creek. Creek's coming off a really nice shutout win over Bel Air at Bel Air, someone that pretty much no one thought they could do. UL struggling, UL's going to struggle, and UL's going to continue to struggle. And this is I think it's a perfect week for Creek to come off that high win and take care of business early.
Yeah, I mean, as long as Creek stays focused, this should be a game that everyone gets to play in. Union Local is not very good. They finally broke that streak of losses a couple weeks ago, but that even took a team turning the ball over six times and have 100 yards of penalties for them to do it. Creek's running game has just been phenomenal. We had it in there. Just told somebody I wouldn't do too many stats, but 1,426 yards rushing on the season as a team. Their leading rusher only has 427 in Logan Woods, which means after your leading rusher, you found another 1,000 yards of rushing coming at you. That means your line and your running back stable is very deep. I expect them to enforce their will on Union Local this week.
Yeah, another enforcing the will on someone else would be the Hancock County rivalry, Oakland at Weir. Weir's just not good right now at all, and they have a lot of holes to fill. Oakland's had 3 weeks of struggles. I really like what Coach Whittington and that staff's trying to do. Obviously, in having Bub Haddocks watch because of pneumonia doesn't help your offense whatsoever. Yeah, you look for Oakland to win the next. I think they can win the next 3 games, get to 5-3 with 2 games to go. See if they can make the playoffs. They got Haddocks and Campbell and Staley and Reed and all those other kids. And I think Josh Welder might be back, but this is going to be over early.
This is a tough Oakland team. But I expect them. Actually, even if Bub Haddocks doesn't come back, they really shouldn't have too much trouble with Weir. Weir's struggling because everyone knows Larch is the one carrying the ball, and his production is starting to go down because everybody's so focused on him.
Right.
Nobody else is able to step up. Oak Glen, on the other hand, their defense showed a lot. They gave a good Steubenville Central offense fits last week.
Right.
They held Cole Bella to 126 yards passing. Cole Bella, the only time he got held, that's less than what he was held to against Frontier in the quarter and a half they played.
Yeah.
They played a heck of a game defensively. Just without Haddocks, they didn't have that explosiveness. I really, if Haddocks plays, it could get like 50-60 to nothing if they want it to. If he doesn't play, I still see like a 30 to 40 point win.
Yeah, I don't see it much
different. That's just the way it goes.
Another homecoming game down in Yorkville, Ferry at Buckeye Local. Regardless of what the record of those 2 teams are, man, this is a knockdown, drag-out, just slugfest every year. Buckeye Locals 3-2. You can't sleep on, especially when they're at home. I mean, they give fairy fits, and I don't see it being any different this week.
Yeah, I mean, Buckeyes coming off another loss, our win, beating Edison, sitting at over 500. Now they're hoping for some big things. You know, they got through the first half of the season with that winning record, and that's what Phil Pest really wanted. Now they just have to. I think they have to solidify their defense a little better going into this game because their offense has shown some explosiveness. So if they can solidify that defense, make some key stops, this is a winnable game for them.
I agree. Now the fourth homecoming game Friday night is Harrison Central at Edison. Obviously Edison is struggling.
Yeah.
Harrison comes in at 4-1, just coming off a whooping by St. Clairsville, and obviously St. Clairsville is really, really, really good. I mean, they didn't lose. It wasn't a fluke loss.
They did the same thing to Creek.
Yeah, and obviously with Harrison, you've got Hython and Mitchell and Pellegrin and the receivers, and I mean you've got a talented, relatively balanced offense. Obviously, Crocker likes to run the ball. Edison has Graziani and Nolan Marcus, but Graziani's just really run the ball very well for 5 weeks. He is a horse. I see obviously Harrison winning the game because I think they're just more talented right now than Edison is, and they're looking at the P word. They're looking at playoffs, and they're looking at and Harrison just can't finish 7th or 8th because if they finish 7th or 8th, they're either traveling to Ironton or St. Clairsville. No one wants to go to Ironton.
No.
And at least if you're going to go in the playoffs somewhere close, you might as well go to St. Clairsville. But I like Harrison big in this.
As far as this game goes, I hate to go Lee Corso on you, but I expect this to be closer than the experts think. I mean, that's what he says on game day. Edison is a much better team than a 1-4 record shows. Thank God. I told you I didn't want to go Corso on you, but I had to.
You got a Husky hat.
This is a
somewhere?
1-4 team that seriously 3 of their losses have been by like 1 score.
Right.
The Oakland one was 9, but seriously they were player 2 away in that game as well. They just haven't been able to put it together, but they're a better team than their record indicates. But Harrison is the better team of the two. I was talking to Mackenzie today, actually, and he actually said Rasheed Mitchell, he said he was probably the best passer Harrison's had since Davia.
Right.
Only he's more athletic. He goes, that's
Agreed,
what
yep.
makes him dangerous. And then and obviously we've talked about Hython over and over again. He goes, what makes him scary is he runs up the middle, but he's the best he's seen at being able to make people miss in tight spaces. He goes, he doesn't need a lot of space to juke somebody. And then when you're outside, when your corners think that they can come in and help on the tackle, he's bounced out and he's got the sideline. They just have so many weapons. I expect them to win, but Edison.
But don't count out the Wildcats because
Edison's
we've seen
put
them.
up a heck of a fight
Absolutely. The 0-5 Bruins, who I don't think anybody saw coming, but that's part of athletics. You played, and they're going to Point Pleasant. Point Pleasant is a AAA school this year for the first time. They just moved up from AA. They were AA semifinalists last year, beating Oak Glen. This year they're AAA. They are undefeated. And I think they're 6th or 7th in the state. So life hasn't gotten any easier for Coach Blumetti and the Bruins.
Yeah, this is not a game to get healthy on. Point Pleasant is a very good football team, and you have to go all the way down there. I was down there for the Oak Glen. That's a drive to go try and play a football game. This is going to be a rough one for Brooke. Again, where do you find your weapons to help Buck Melter? I mean, Lowry has shown potential.
Yep.
Obviously, Hunter Wallace, who's second in our coverage area and catches, he's shown some potential, but they really haven't had that person that has taken the pressure off Buck Melter yet. And until they do that, it's going to be a long season. And unfortunately, Point Pleasant is not a team to start experimenting on. They're
I agree.
a heck of a team.
And obviously, just the lack of a running game just proves. It's huge. I mean, people love to see you throw it all over the lot, but if you don't have a running game to go with it, and we'll talk about that specifically with one team later.
On a side note, though, Point Pleasant, I've been down there and I still don't know what their mascot is. Half the stuff says Big Blacks, half the stuff says Black Knights. They're confused.
Big Black Knights.
And maybe that's what it is
there you
too.
Go.
But they switch it back and forth. I think they have some confusion issues down there.
Thanks for that. We have 3 games on Saturday. First one Saturday afternoon. Toronto goes to St. John Central. Toronto got their first win of the season last week against Valley. The Glenn brothers pretty much took care of business. For the most part, Coach Meek, their team's still healthy. And with the Glenn brothers and Stewart and Joey Chadwick is back in, Kyle White, and the offensive line did well. I'd like the Knights to pretty much go 2-4 this week.
Oh, yeah. This is a team that's getting better. They showed it last week. They had a slow start. I think they were down 14-6, and then they ran off 3 straight touchdowns and one. The Glenn brothers, we've all seen what they can do. They're both explosive athletes. Charles Ross III. The guy that stands out to me is the way Nate Stewart stepped up last week with 8 catches. We knew Joey Chadwick and Kyle White coming in. Kyle White couldn't play because of the concussion. Joey Chadwick played but was still hobbled by his leg injury. Nate Stewart comes in at receiver and catches 8 balls. All of a sudden now you have 3 weapons at receiver for Blaze Glenn to throw to. And we all seen what Blaze Glenn can do when he has time and when he's in a rhythm. So this is a team that's getting better, and I expect them to go in there. Even though this is an improved St. John's team from last year.
Highly improved St. John's team.
But I still see the way Toronto's playing right now and the improvement we saw from week 4 to week 5, this is a team that could definitely come away with a win this week.
Another Saturday night game, or the first Saturday night game, is Bridgeport at Madonna. I expect Madonna to take care of this fast and furious. This is one of those you need to take care of business games for the Blue Dons. Bridgeport is struggling. Bridgeport is young. It's not, and it's not like Madonna is old, but Madonna has, of the 28 kids, 13 are juniors. Yeah, so they have a lot more experience than Bridgeport does, and I expect the Dons with Comus and Osman and Nero and Travis Brown on defense and all those other kids to take care of business quickly.
Yeah, much like I said with them against Cameron last week. Come out fast, get a big lead, put them away early. Yeah. That if you do that, there's no reason they shouldn't put this away a game early and be able to bring in some subs and make sure you're not getting injuries.
The problem with 27, 28 kids, there's not a lot of subs, man.
But you got to be careful because Comus was in there pretty late last week. That worries me. 53 points and he's still in the game. That's a kid you cannot lose. Yeah. But they do have some depth at quarterback according to Taylor. But, I expect them to just come out and
you expect that back up. Yeah, exactly.
Run roughshod over them.
You want to try that again? Perfect. All right, last game of the week, the final homecoming game, Saturday night. Your Big Blue hosting Conotton Valley. This is huge we've talked all year long, the Crusaders are a good football team. Yeah. And that with the win last week, they are now 7th in the region. They're in the playoff hunt, the P word, and Conotton Valley comes in at 2-3, lost 3 in a row. Crusaders got themselves where they want to be. Now they have to prove that they belong where they.
Yeah, this is a game they should win. I know 2 games. This is a team Central is better than. They have to prove it quick, fast, in a hurry. Their defense is improving. Yep. They showed that last week.
Defense is improving.
Even without Bub Haddix playing, this defense has shown a ton of improvement as the season has gone on. Last year, this game was close, probably closer than it should have been because they played in the Mud Bowl. That was Conotton Valley.
And didn't Pinella carry the ball for 75 times?
Pinella had more carries in that game than he did the rest of the season, I think. On the turf, if the weather's nice, I just see Cole Bella and company having a big night. Again, Maslowski, you get him in space. He's so fast. Yeah, I think they just have way too many weapons, and they got to prove that. Don't let Conotton Valley hang around.
Yeah, and this is once again your defense needs to, just like they did last week. They need to step up and do their business.
And they're tackling so much. You can see the improvement in it. They're coming up and hitting people. This is something we haven't seen out of Central as far as hitting in a few years.
Yeah, I agree with that.
They're coming up, and their kids are doing what they're supposed to. They're not diving at feet or trying to tackle at shoulders. They're putting their helmet in people's chests and blasting them, and it's real fun to watch.
So you're used to watching that, whether you were on the team, on the bench. Too. Really?
Yeah, man. Fourth quarters, I was great at it. Fourth quarters of blowouts, I was the man. Don't ever question it. We scored 2 whole touchdowns when I was in the game that season. Woo! Big time.
You know what the best part is now?
I was recruited by many intramural football teams in college.
As what, water boy?
Yeah. But I carry water good.
You and Adam Sandler?
Well.
Good. I do good, man.
I do good. Okay, we're getting out of here.
The lockout is still going on. The NHL lockout is still going on.
Yeah, this just in. No NHL.
And you know what? The Avella Eagles are 4-0. A couple years ago, they weren't even going to have a football team. I mean, literally, a cheerleader played for them.
That's a shout-out to Summer Minger. What does she do around here again?
We don't care.
Make coffee?
Yeah, make coffee. It just doesn't matter. Okay, see you next week. Bye.